How you going, guys? It's Jesus the Wizard here. Grace Lyon to coming to you on the Art of Rebirth show. This is Art of Rebirth Conversations with Grace, and this episode we've got Jesse from the Master's Space. He has a new program coming out called Initiation. It's all about men's initiation into manhood in a safe space, and he's really passionate about what that stands for and the initiation process. So that starts September 25, 2022. So excited to hear from Jesse now as he tells his story about going from complete wasted consciousness, like out of his body, out of his mind, psychopath kind of tendencies, to the now beautiful expression that he is. And as we discovered, that beautiful expression was always with him throughout this, and his partner helped bring about awareness to his situation and to what he was doing, and he became more self-aware and then got into breath work. He actually runs a local breath workshops for free at Henley Beach Square every Wednesday, every Saturday morning, 9:30. Be there or be square. All right. I am excited to introduce Jesse from the Master Space with Initiation. Thanks, guys. Music, art, wisdom. Wise Serpent. This is the Art of Rebirth. Catch you guys. Wise Serpent Fest is 11/11/2022. Get your Golden Key Pass and also third day access via a donation to a charity to be announced, co-partnering with us to create a positive shift in Australian youth culture through music, art and wisdom. Suicide is the #1 cause of death in Australia for young people, and we want to do something about it. And so that's what wiseserpentdream.com is all about. It's holistic artist development, personal development, spiritual development, and we're having conversations with other people that have had transformative experiences and sharing these kind of stories of transformation. That's what the Art of Rebirth Conversations with Grace is all about. So yeah, looking forward to this. We're launching 11/11/2022 via Wise Serpent Fest, wiseserpentfest.com. So make sure you get along to that. It's going to be really, really cool. We're doing that locally on Kangaroo Island, and can't wait to do the live streams from there and connect the dots for everyone there that's going to be participating, and it's going to be really cool. All right, thanks, guys. Peace. World peace, that is. This is the Art of Rebirth Conversations with Grace. Catch ya. Music, art, wisdom, wise serpent. The Art of Rebirth. Music, art, wisdom, wiseserpent.com. Jesse, welcome to the Art of Rebirth.
Grace, thank you very much for having me, brother.
We made it. We made it.
We have.
So yeah, we're live streaming right now to the group, but we'll cut this up later for you guys listening on the podcast, the Art of Rebirth show, Conversations with Grace. We're talking to Jesse today. Jesse, it's wonderful to have you on the show. Really excited to dive deep into your story, see what's been happening on this journey, and talk about the breath, obviously, and talk about men's the need for a men's space. Or there's a lot to unpack. I know that you've got a vision and you're here for a reason, and you've got a message to tell. So I don't want to get in the way. I want to hand over the mic to you now, Jesse, and this is the Art of Rebirth show. So this is your hero's journey. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much, Grace. Beautiful introduction, man. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Yes. So, where to begin?
Where to begin?
Yeah.
It's always good to start at the start.
Yeah, start at the start.
Are you born from? You born in SA or you born elsewhere?
Yeah, born here, man.
Yeah.
Lived here all my life, and yeah, had a beautiful childhood in this world, and as childhoods go, man, a lot of stuff happens that you're not really aware of how it's affecting you till later in your life. And skip forward into my mid-20s, man, started to really find myself in a position where I didn't really know how I got to where I was, and I was it was almost like, man, what is happening? Like, how have I got into this place? How has my life led me to a place where I wake up and most of the time in my waking hours in my life, most of the time in my life is spent doing things that I don't really like doing, to earn money, to upkeep this lifestyle that I need. I feel that I needed to like self-medicate myself even just to handle the life I was living. So, you know, I think it's a very, very common thing, Grace, these days, and that's not something that is super fantastic in my eyes, but is, you know, young adults really not knowing how or why, not so much how, not knowing why they're doing the things that they're doing. And yeah, that space in my life became like a pattern of living where I would find some way to alleviate the unhappiness that I was feeling through physical pleasure, and yeah, one of the biggest struggles in my life was this like lust for hedonistic pleasure, which I felt the need to pursue at the cost of my moral integrity and just my general care for the world and other people. It was almost like I began to create this cold shell, a consciousness that was more machine-like, where I would see every circumstance in life as like a win or a lose, and so I was always trying to like extract a win out of a situation. So I was always trying to take something for my own benefit, and I literally like thought that was the best way to live. Like, yeah, and that whole idea about life, that, you know, it's like a game of win or lose, or that it's a competition, or that everything, you put yourself in like in a hierarchy of better or worse than another person. Say that's a very, very common hierarchy that people use. So I pretty much found myself lost in the rat race, very dependent on certain substances such as alcohol, many different drugs, using them very, very regularly, and working jobs to make money to pay the rent, and have enough money for cigarettes and beers, and that was my life, Grace. It was just like, that was how it was going, and it had quite a toll on my personal relationships, whether that be my friendships, whether that be my intimate relationships with my girlfriends at the times, with my family. And it got to the point where I was choosing to take I was choosing the physical pleasures over, say, an actual loving connection with other people. And fast forward to I was 26 years old. It was 2017 in April. All of these things had accumulated over time.
So this is this is leading up to a moment.
A
big bang.
A big bang.
Okay. Before we jump in, why do you think that is? Why do you think that those patterns were the physical pleasures? Was that something that you felt like is a normal pathway? Like we're talking about, it is quite common. You mentioned that a couple of times. I resonate with that story myself, and I think it is very common. Why do you think it is common?
Yeah, I think it's so common because, so I'm talking in terms of Western society. That's what I know. Kids get raised through the schooling system, right? And basically, you get told who you should be, and you sort of get programmed to fit a certain model that's benefiting society, say. But you're never really asked or asked to explore or invited to explore who you are and who you want to be and what creative genius you have. You're sort of more just ranked at how you fit into a system that already exists.
Right.
And I think that when you grow older, you more and more follow that path of trying to be someone that you're actually not. And somewhere inside you, you know that that's not right for you. You know that it's not actually bringing you joy. And that's where I believe the substances come in, because in a situation like that, say, where you're doing these things and you're working really hard, or you're striving for something that's actually very unnatural for you to strive for, you look for some way to alleviate that stress or that feeling that is somehow coming up in you from your repressed emotions or whatever it may be. And I believe that's a common way that the substances turn from just fun, because at the start they are just fun. Having gone to a party and drinking for the first time, or smoking weed, or doing some drugs, man, that's fucking fun. Of course, that's why people do it.
Yeah.
But then when it tips over the scale, when it becomes you're using it as a way to ignore other parts of your life, or justify other parts of your life, or because you've never actually been encouraged or open your mind to choosing a life that actually means something to you.
So it's the depth of identity and the who and the why behind the action. It's not the school system hasn't, or in our upbringing, it was the same for me. It wasn't. It is a system of thought. I think it's evolving, but it's a big part of the competition mindset and the hierarchy mindset, and the lostness, the feeling lost because it's not starting with the individual with their talents and everything like that. In a more free, fluid kind of environment, it's much more locked down, and if you can't regurgitate the information in the correct order, then suddenly you get an F on your scorecard when you're, like you said, everyone's got innate genius in them. And we're designed for pleasure as well, so it's no wonder that kind of head needs to find a body. And so whether that's substance abuse or things that are going to be pleasurable temporarily, that don't serve long term, even good things can become not so good things if they're in the wrong order.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you mentioned the educational system, because that is that's a whole rabbit hole. But there's I'm glad you brought that up, because that's been your experience.
Yeah.
First-hand experience.
Definitely.
And,
Yeah.
We're so impressionable as youngsters. I mean, little kids running around. We need really good, strong leadership, and so do adults. We always have leadership, and we keep on needing leadership in life. So I'm excited to talk about the men's leadership group, and activating a safe space for men to be men. I'm excited to talk about that. But we are leading up to this moment in time when you're 26.
Yeah.
That's a bit around about time where it happened for me too, about 26.
Yeah.
Interesting. So things are getting a little bit out of hand.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Things are definitely getting out of hand. By this stage, Grace, I was aware that the actions I was making were causing harm to other people. That I wasn't, that I was like manipulating people, and I was taking advantage of other people's emotional wounds or what I perceived as their mental weakness, and I didn't like feeling that, but I didn't want to stop what I was doing, so I decided to circumvent that and stop feeling that, and really started to develop like sociopathic tendencies, where I would literally just be able to like look someone in the eye and just completely lie to them, with no change in heart rate, you know what I mean? Just completely settled in manipulating and lying in a situation for me to get what I thought I wanted at that time. And we say we were going towards a big moment. See, that's the thing with a really big moment. There's all little moments along the way. So I had many fender benders, you might say, many little crashes in my mental, emotional, just my general existence, you know. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't enough for me to change my behaviour. It wasn't enough for me to actually listen and acknowledge, you know, how I was acting and what I was creating in my life. And this moment came along in 2017 in April. I was seeing my now fiance Caitlin Thomas. Our relationship had just begun. Been going for a couple months, and there was this voice in my head that would speak to me, and it was telling me not to get involved with this girl, because genuine feelings were starting to arise, and I could feel those feelings coming in, and this, you know, this voice, this consciousness, this like machine that I had basically created so I could navigate and do these things. It was telling me like, do not go any further with this relationship. Like it's gonna stop us from having what we want.
Right.
And so there was a night where I was drinking. I was drinking a lot, so it was very common for me to be out drinking. And anyway, Caitlin had picked me up from town, and we were coming back to my house, and there was just this part of me that completely took over, and I actually blacked out. And this wasn't a blackout from drinking. This was just like my soul left my body. I wasn't there, and I went into a full blown like psychotic episode where I went about trying to destroy my relationship with Caitlin through just like a barrage of mental abuse, where I basically the whole narrative was that I was some superior being, that she meant nothing to me, and I went about taking every little piece of our experience together and showing her how much I disrespected her, and I didn't care about her, and basically just took like a wrecking ball to our relationship, because that was like my intention in that moment, was to like get her out of my life, because I could feel that feeling coming back again. And and like I said, Grace, I was gone, and like, so I wasn't even there. So basically I start coming back to consciousness about, I think it was about three hours or something, about 3 hours
so
after.
A 3-hour block this particular night, where you felt like you weren't even there, but you were still there enough to observe that you were doing this, but you weren't really.
Sort of.
It was a mixture, was it?
Sort of, actually. Most of the information that I'm telling you is actually from Caitlin.
Right. Okay.
I remember being just like, well, just like a complete cunt, actually. You know, like just.
Yeah. And you checked out.
But I was gone. You know.
Yeah.
I remembered the general gist of it.
Right.
Yeah. You know. I remembered the general energy of how it went, but the details and to what extent that I had gone into that, I didn't know, man. And after she had left, like, because she stayed there and witnessed, you know, she actually like held space for me to have that experience, and but it didn't let up, and eventually she left, and as soon as she left, I went into my default mode of distraction, and that was 2 tabs of acid straight down the throat, music full bore, and just like laying on the floor, like, you know, just using it as a complete escape, you know, complete escape. But that's the funny thing about you know, psychedelic substances. It doesn't always work that way. And it was a couple hours later, man, like 11 a.m. the next morning. So like this had happened, you know, at night, say between 11 and 2 in the morning or something, or roughly. Then, you know, all that time's passed, and man, just this feeling courses through my body, Grace, and this thought, and it's just like, what have you done? Like, why are you trying to destroy this amazing thing that you have in your life? Like, is that really what you want to, is this who you want to be? And it was like I had to completely abandon any idea of love, to the point where I wasn't even there, that it was complete fear, like complete darkness took over for me to like finally like feel that love again. And I felt it, man, and it was like it didn't matter what twisted thought that my mind could bring into the reckoning process in that moment, that I could feel it. I could feel that love, and then I had a choice. And there's always a choice, and I had a choice, and in that moment I chose to reconcile. I chose to message Caitlin, and I chose to do everything I could to mend and bring that love back into my life. And it was in that moment where Caitlin then gave me the opportunity to acknowledge the truth, because it was then, after that message that I sent her, that she messaged me back telling me, for real, like I'd never been told before, how I was behaving, like that the things that I was doing were complete psychotic. And in this moment, like she literally couldn't, she said in one of those messages, like this is how far, it was like, how can I know that you're not just messaging me now to try and get us back together, so at another point later you can just like shove this in my face and show me that, oh, like you've tricked me again. You know what I mean? It's like she thought of me as like a plotter, like a sick schemer, and in a way I was, but to hear that from her, like that's how she saw my behaviour, and that's like literally who I was being. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? And in that moment, I accepted that truth, and I allowed it all in. And for the first time, Grace, in a very, very long time, I actually acknowledged that this person I was being, like that was me. I was choosing that. That was the choices I was making, and this is how it was affecting people. And that was a bitter pill to swallow.
To acknowledge that. Man. And it took me like really getting shaken up. And from that moment onwards, man, there was a different choice was available to me, and there was an understanding that, you know, it was these lies, it was everything that was non-truth, that was a lie, that was creating this effect in my life where I didn't actually get to be happy. Like the only thing that I got was pleasure, physical pleasure. Right.
It was pleasureful,
yeah,
but I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And that can only last so long. You know, that yeah.
Caitlin must have seen, I'm assuming she saw who you really were despite those lies, despite those actions throughout this.
Well said, Grace. Yeah, she said when I was in that like psychotic place, she knew it wasn't me. Yeah, because she had experienced like
there really is.
Yeah, she had felt it. Yeah.
It's always a choice. That's what you came to. It's like you take a responsibility and soaking in that and realizing you had a choice. Was there a sense of liberation that came with that, and self-empowerment?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was that whole train of thought that kept showing me in all areas of my life, you know, where I could liberate myself, where I actually had the choice to be free, and I had the choice to be happy. And the fact that I wasn't happy, you know, I like to blame things, Grace. I was very good at it.
Yeah.
Very good at blaming everything else for why my life wasn't going the way that I wanted to. And that showed me so clearly that, you know, that is not the reason. That's not the reason that your life is not the way you want it. And it became this pathway, like this golden piece of understanding that I'd actually experienced for myself, that it is the truth of my experience that will set me free. that actually leads to like happiness. And I started applying that grace in all aspects of my life as best as I could, and I continue to do so.
You're still part of the art of rebirth journey.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah.
But how? Yeah, it's amazing to see where we come from and see where you are today. It's you got to pinch yourself, right?
Yeah.
Just a different mindset.
Not even that long ago, man. Like 2017, right?
Yeah, true.
Not even that long ago.
About 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah. And so, how much since you made that choice and this moment happened, and you kind of chose this path, like what the contrast between the lifestyle and your happiness? You mentioned happiness a few times. Your emotional and mental health. Like what does it become now?
Now, well, yeah. From then to now, oh man, it's not even comparable, Grace. Like it's amazing. I've gone from a place of rapid decay in all areas of my life, my physical health, my relationships, my goals and dreams, all areas, into a place of blossoming and flourishing. Where I wake up and I'm actually living my dream, man. Like I'm dedicated to living a life that brings myself happiness, and through a process of healing yourself and coming back to wholeness, it naturally turns into living a life that's beneficial for all, because you realise that when you choose what's best for yourself, you're choosing what's best for everyone else, and it's vice versa. When you choose what's best for everyone else, you're choosing what's best for yourself, and these things start to change, but they change gradually.
Right.
They change gradually. Like I didn't go from my complete dependency on hedonistic pleasure to like living an empowered life of like meaning and purpose overnight.
Yes, it was a process.
But I will say that overnight was about as drastic as a turnaround as you can get.
Like a next level up, or a new platform, a new game to play in.
It was, man. It was like moving into a completely different awareness of life. Yeah, it was a new game.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, with Wise Serpent, we want to speak as well to the hope journey to people that are going through stuff, because suicide is such a prevalent, like it's the #1 cause of death in Australia for young people, like 12 to 44. Yeah, that's just that's the #1 way of checking out, is people imploding. So your story is part of that story, a thread of stories that I want to get out there. And what message would you have for someone who may be listening that may be feeling like lost, in whatever sense, and feel like they're feeling like there's no point to living this life? What would you say? And did you ever have those kind of feelings yourself?
In those moments, Grace, I didn't actually have those feelings. I was very wrapped up in almost like a God complex. Like I thought I was better than everyone else. I didn't feel like ending myself. I felt like feeding on other people. I was more of a predator,
right,
in a way,
right.
Which is just as damaging, just as damaging for sure. But for someone in that position, like, I would say, the way that anything changes, anyone or anything, is it's a gradual process, and that any small choice, any small moment it holds like an opportunity for us to choose something different. And I would say the number one thing, man, is in a situation like that is to really listen. You know, listen to your surroundings, listen to yourself, listen to what you're not. And you know, it can be very easy to lose sight of any sort of meaning or happiness or love in this world. But within us all, there is something that has brought us here. You know what I mean? There's a love within us, and I would say, if you see a chance to make a choice that brings you or someone else like a little slice of happiness, you know, for somebody in a situation where they feel like that, it's probably going to be on the other side of some fear, you know. And I just want to say, like, courage to make a choice that actually that can, you know, feed that part of you that knows it can be happy, or that knows that it can give love, or that it can be useful, or it can benefit someone else, or like I would say, act in that moment. Take that chance. Because man, like, courage lives on the border of fear and love for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it's the tipping point.
It's the moment.
It's the moment, man. And if that moment is there, let the mind rest and act. Just act naturally. Just do what you want to do and see what happens.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom to make a choice that's empowering.
Yeah.
That I also hear you saying little choices are, or big choices are made up of little choices, and big changes are made up of little changes.
They are, brother. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if you're going through something, you're not late, you're on time, you're early, in fact. I mean, the people haven't even been born yet, so you've learned a bit of wisdom along the way, and obviously you suffered a lot, and that's part of our story. Everyone's gone through stuff, but there is so much light and love and fun that is absolutely there for you if you can hang on to those little moments and don't lose hope, and connect with people as well. Connect with people that have a smile on their face, and take a slice of that life, like you're saying, a slice for somebody else as well. They're good practical things, but they're, you know, these little moments where you have a choice and you can see, you know, that would be a good thing. Then go for it. And if you mess up, have some grace for yourself and forgive yourself, because there's always tomorrow. There's always the next moment, and you haven't missed it. There's still plenty of time, and it is a process. But yeah, you got to start with hope, and you got to start loving on yourself a little bit.
Yeah, and like, if you really don't feel you have it within yourself, make a choice to give it to another person. Like, if you feel you can't be happy, see if you can make somebody else happy.
Yeah,
and that will remind you that you always had that within you, because you cannot give that which you do not have.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing piece of advice. And yeah, so there you go. There's something there.
Yeah,
so we can all participate in.
Absolutely, man.
Giving. When we're giving, we're receiving at the same time.
Yeah,
because we're all connected.
Absolutely.
Okay. If we'll take like a quick little break.
Yeah,
we're still live stream, but we'll cut this out in post. But this is for the behind the scenes content now.
Yeah.
Just and then we'll finish your story and jump into what you're doing now and what your vision is right now, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sounds good, Grace. Let's do it.
All right. Well, thanks. You've been listening to White Serpent Radio. This is the Art of Rebirth show.
See you on the other side.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, Grace.
It's good to dive deep.
Yeah.
Because this is all stuff I don't know your backstory. I just know who you are.
Yeah.
I love who you are.
Yeah.
So I mean,
came from somewhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The caterpillar turning into the butterfly is a great picture for it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Metamorphosis, man.
Yeah.
Going through a bit of a collective metamorphosis at the moment, aren't we?
We are. So all our little choices do stack up.
Yeah.
And the brighter you go, you realise how dark the darkness is and the potential that you could fall at any moment. So you got to really keep on making those choices. And it is brutal, man. It's brutal. The game of life is the most intense game.
Yeah.
That we know.
Until it's not.
Yes.
Until you're flowing and just loving every moment. Even in the brutal, man.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things. It's like, and I was in the black, in the pit, but it was that void, man, that has transformed into my greatest life values and the things that have absolutely shaped me to be in this dream. And you know, it's a beautiful thing for people to be reminded of, is at least the possibility that this fucking shit that they're experiencing could just be the grandest ticket to their most amazing life, their most amazing experience, their biggest service or impact they can have, on themselves or in the world.
You flipped it.
Like it's right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, flipping it. So true. It's a container to be filled later on.
Yeah.
So the feedback loop in life is really strong feedback loop with the emotions and everything and the insights.
Yeah. Just
everyone knows what to do really in here. At the end of the day, it's just doing that. What's in here? What's the truth that's in us that is going to move us forward? The right thing to do. It's never the wrong thing to do. It's always going to be good. So I'm excited, but I love all the different aspects of it as well. All the different seasons of life. I'm really enjoying this one.
Yeah.
Feel like it's an important season. Like they all are. But,
absolutely.
It feels adventurous. Feels like expansion. Feels like co-creation.
Yeah.
Certainly. feels like that to me.
Yeah, and for me the key difference is conscious co-creation.
Yes.
We're always co-creating.
Yeah.
We can co-create in the deepest pits of hell. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and we are.
Yeah.
But to do it
Yeah.
like with actual awareness, to consciously embody like the true nature of who we are as creators, to choose that together, like
Some Robin Hood shit.
that's, you know, that's like that's literally, you know, like, you know, becoming the alchemist of life, you know, becoming the magician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
And
I love it.
man, when you do that consciously together, whoo, man, like, flip this whole world on its head. You know what I mean? Bring your wildest dreams to life, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is very optimistic, and I think that's the right lens.
Yeah, why
I think
not, right?
It's the best one. It's a selfish lens. It's best for you. It's best, but it's best for everyone.
Yeah,
It's good to be full of the divine self.
yeah, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Selfishness doesn't just stop with you.
No.
You got to be
No.
selfish enough for everyone. 'Cause
Yeah, and see, that's the
one
thing.
big self.
That's it. Because selfishness really can only come from the perspective that you're actually separate from other
Yeah.
people and the world in general. That's when you can be selfish.
That's that ego, selfish, me versus you kind of mindset.
Yeah, the competition,
the little me.
the hierarchy,
Yeah.
like all of the different ways that we move through the world to take for ourselves. Yeah, but yeah,
True that. Should we? I'm excited to dive into this
absolutely.
second part of this adventure, the Art of Rebirth. So yeah, I mean that's a great that is a great Art of Rebirth story, and it's still going. And welcome back, by the way, those that are just joining us back here. We're back into the into this space. Can't say it's not perfect. It's perfect time.
Yeah, a beautiful om to bring us in, mate. Sound of life.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mm.
So you were at the beach today. Tell us a little bit about your breathing, the power of the breath for a moment, because that's something that from the surface it's an easy get for someone to get about you when you meet you, especially many people are newly meeting you in that environment at the beach, leading this breathing group, chilling out, doing good things with Wim Hof, and our good friend Wim's always with us. He's amazing. So this is how we met on the beach. Met Jamie at a bus stop. She was singing, and we started talking. Had a lot of like crossover. She's like, "Come to the beach. We're doing this beach breathing." I was like, "Come along." Met you, and I was like, "Wow, this is like the best church I've ever been to." It's like, so that's how I met you. I'm sure lots of people meeting you that way. But just speak a little bit to the power of the breath and how you got involved with that and how you started that group out.
Yeah. Well, the power of the breath. Well, I actually was a big time smoker for a long time in my life, Grace, and coming back to this moment where I started to look at the truth of my life. You start to look at all of your little behaviours. And so one such behaviour, I had many of them, was my smoking. And you know, why was I smoking cigarettes? It was because I thought I was only ever smoking a cigarette to like deal with life in a way. Like it's like life wasn't just good enough as it was. I had to do something over the top of it, and it was, yeah, like the way it was, yeah, poisoning myself. Grace, would you actually be able to stop the yawning? It's actually
you go into a trance.
Yeah, it's throwing me off a little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah,
no, I'm glad you said. That's pretty funny. Let's see. I think if we just go back here. That is very funny. I think this should be all good. Yeah, the ohms, they can get you there.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, with the breath, man, for such a long time I was poisoning my lungs, smoking cigarettes, and it's just like a habitual pattern in my life. And you know, you eventually come to the realization, it's like what am I doing? Why am I doing this? You know, like, why am I smoking? Why am I smoking cigarettes? And it basically came down to some, you know, idea that I had in my head that I needed this cigarette to, deal with life as it was. It was like this statement that, like, you know, life wasn't good enough as it is. I needed to, you know, stimulate myself in a certain way to make life better. And eventually, I saw that, you know, it was all just in my head. Like this whole cigarette thing. Why I felt I needed it, or why I was dependent on it. Because, you know, it's very common knowledge that smoking is not good for a human being. You know, like, breathing is, you know, the number one function that keeps us alive on a moment-to-moment basis. And when you fill your lungs with toxic carcinogens over and over and over again, you inhibit your ability to bring in oxygen and to process oxygen. So, again, that truth. You know, I started looking at the truth. So I'm looking at the truth of this thing, and when you look at it long enough, you just can't keep doing it, right? You know, and that's what led to the psychotic behaviour in the first place, is because I could see it, but I wanted to keep doing it.
Right. So
I created that sociopathic tendencies. So basically, moving in the opposite direction. I looked at everything, I did the exact opposite of what I was doing. So I started looking at everything for exactly what it was. And smoking, it started to make no sense. And I always loved running, man. I always loved running. I always loved just being an active guy, you know, like a physical guy that can run, jump, play sports, like do whatever it was. You know, I just loved moving and dancing and just being, you know, like a physical specimen, man. You know, yes. I loved it. But when I looked at the truth of what I was doing in my life, I was poisoning my body all the time. So, again, actively acknowledging the choices that I was making and how they do not feed the things that actually make me happy at my core. So that began that process of stopping smoking. And, you know, of course, gradually. But there were some radical moments as well, where I had all these cigarettes and I ripped them all up, threw them in the bin. It wasn't the last time I smoked, but it was a big moment for a long period there. I majorly cut back on my smoking. There was small regressions back into a bit of smoking, but again, you know, just the choice comes again, and it comes again, and the truth comes again, and you look at it again, and you acknowledge it, and that led to this healthy, momentum building up, and eventually started working out, looking after my body, and I was in the sauna one day, and I met my good friend Toby Yo, and he was talking about Wim Hof, like you mentioned, and I just heard about Wim Hof coming back from a trip from Mexico. One of the people I'd met over there was talking about this Iceman, and these breathing techniques, and so I've come back to Adelaide. I'm sitting there in the sauna, and this guy, Toby, as you know, he's pretty ripped. Yeah. So he's sitting there, he's ripped as. I'm like, wow. And he starts talking about Wim Hof, these breathing techniques. And I'm like, I actually have heard about this. So I asked him, we started talking. He invited me to meet him the next morning. And we did my first breathwork session, deep breathing. And it clicked, man, after like 1 or 2 sessions. It was like, man, if I'm breathing well, I am literally like filling myself with life. Not just in that moment when I'm doing the technique, but like it's actually making me a better breather.
Right.
For every moment in my life, it's like, it's like it's gonna help me run. It's like help me sleep better. It's gonna help me be like calmer. And I just started to understand. I was like, man, the breath is like this like source of connection to life, to literally the essence of life that we all have in every single moment. And it struck me, Grace. I was like, I'm 27 years old. How has nobody ever told me this? I was like, what is going on? Like, how have I never done any conscious breathing before in my life until this point now? You know what I mean? And it amazed me, because it just felt like this secret, this key. It was like the breath. Man, it's like the most important thing that a human being does, is breathing. Yeah. And then comes like, water, sleep, food, movement. And it all started to come together. I was like, oh, these are like the pillars of like human existence. Like, these are the basics. You know what I mean? I had been abusing the basics, like taking them for granted. Not just taking them for granted, like pissing on them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like making an absolute mockery of them. And and I was paying the price, Grace, with a twisted skeletal frame, with psoriasis, with gums that were rotting, like a psyche that was sick, all sorts of injuries and things that were just so damaging to any sort of expression that gave me actual joy and enthusiasm for life, man. And the breath was just like at the core of that, because smoking was something that that was something that I did like every day, all the time. I was smoking all the time. And so going from that to the conscious breathing, it was so impactful for me that its value was just like it was so awakened within me. And that's when Toby and I started the beach breathing. Was 2019. We started the beach breathing group as a way of like bringing people together in a manner that was actually gonna like fill us with life, actually like enhance our life, instead of always catching up in a social situation which would involve, say, smoking cigarettes, drinking beers, something that was damaging to our health. And we found each other both in that moment where we didn't have friendship groups or even another friend
Right.
that wanted to do that, and that's
You kind of scratch your own itch, and
we
open it up to
did.
people.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's how the beach came about, the beach breathing, where so many beautiful connections have come, and that's been my experience with the breath.
That's awesome.
In a nutshell.
That's great little origin story.
Yeah.
Cool. And obviously, you're still doing that. You did that today. So Wednesdays and Saturdays at 9:30 at Henley Beach for the local Adelaideans.
That's it.
Out there.
All year round.
All year round. Yeah, that's right.
It wasn't particularly warm today at the beach. Yeah.
We're still in winter time now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got to say, the consistency is impressive. You do it rain, hail or shine, and you really do.
Yeah.
You actually do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So so you know it's going to be on 9:30 Henley Beach. Wednesdays and Saturdays you see Jesse there, and Toby is he's on his adventure, isn't he?
He's currently on an adventure. Yeah.
Cool.
In the van.
Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, just living life to the fullest. Yeah.
You felt the call.
Yeah, you felt the call, man. Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
No.
So, tell us what you're doing now. Like on top of the brick. So that was the center, the core of just reverse engineering, like what's most important to a human being, of course, but also impact wise. As you go on your journey, the breath is at center. And for all of us, whether we're aware of it or not, like it is part of the center. It is our center. And so what is that fueling now? What is that? Because you've got the master's space and initiation. So speak to me about both of those. Maybe the master's space first, and how, because I know initiation is right on the cusp and something that's developing quickly as we speak, and probably freshest and most top of mind for you. But also the master space is still continuing, I gather.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
the master space is that's the space where I have been consulting with people in a one-on-one fashion.
Yeah.
And it actually started out as the Truth Seekers.
Right.
And has been rebranded to the master space, and basically the offerings that have been delivered and experienced through the master space have been basically a consulting process where we will look at the holistic truth of somebody's life, where we start at a space of truth, acceptance and awareness, and use a cycle of personal mastery to allow ourselves to see how exactly our lives are serving us, to really express ourselves to our fullest capacity. And the vision for the master space has always been to raise human consciousness and to bring about a more joyful and harmonious human experience, man. And it's been quite a ride in that space as well, coming up against a lot of my own personal limitations, you know what I mean?
Right.
And in how I can actually be of service to something so grand, so awesome. And so the master space, actually, like, I haven't been active in the master space in the last couple months, and it was actually a big part of the process and birth of the initiation space. Okay. It was almost making way for me to find a service that truly truly fits with the talents and what I have to offer, and to actually prepare myself in the energetic space to be able to deliver a space and a service which is in alignment with, you know, raising human consciousness, and in alignment with what's personally true for myself. And I tell you what, Grace, that was quite a process for me, like having a consulting business and consulting with people, and, you know, going from nothing to this, and it was, you know, things are moving along, it's looking great, and then it slowly sort of just like peters out a bit, you know what I mean? And it was like, and then I became like a little bit desperate, you know what I mean? I was wanting to help people more because of what it would give me, you know, than actually like helping somebody. And a lot of that self-doubt and unworthiness coming up in many different forms, especially linked with the fact that the master space was not creating any financial income. And so the master space is still very much alive, like, because it's just an extension of like my vision for the life, you know, just in the form of a service. And so I would say initiation is probably just like a natural outgrowth of the master space, for sure. Yeah.
And your vision for initiation is for men. You mentioned it. It's I'd love to hear about what it is, and what's your truth for it, like and why does it exist, and because you mentioned it's just fully in alignment for you, so I'd love to hear why it exists, and what's the truth of it, and who is it for, and why does it exist.
Awesome, brother. So initiation, so it's this program is a safe space for men to embody healthy masculine energy, and the vision for the space is empowered men leading lives of conscious creation, which brings to themselves and those around them like streams of joy and sustainable happiness. And the program is called Initiation, and it really speaks volumes of its purpose and why it exists, and actually really it ties in super well with the Rebirth narrative, and especially with my own story that I've shared today. So an initiatory process is traditionally a process that happens for young men and women who are like coming of age, who are moving from, say, you know, childhood into their adulthood. And quite often an initiatory process contains like an opening and an awareness to like what's happening in life, and then often comes with like a challenge, an ordeal, you know, something to like galvanize the individual, and then is brought through into like creating an actual like tangible benefit from, say, you know, the darker elements of life, like a really challenging situation. And what I've found, and what I think what you will observe in our lives at the moment, is that there is no initiation process for young men and women coming into their adult years, but the initiation process happens nonetheless. Yes. We create it ourselves, but there's no support coming through the ordeals. Right. So we're all moving through these self-created ordeals, to understand the true essence of existence, of, you know, the whole puzzle, you know, whether, you know, our voids, our darknesses, our challenges in, you know, in relationship to our joys, our pleasures, and all these things. So the purpose of initiation is to actually, like, consciously bring people through those aspects of their life where they have by themselves, you know, gone through these the ordeals and the challenges that life naturally presents to everyone, but actually bring it through with a tangible benefit and result that can serve the individual and those around them to live in a manner of that brings them actual joy, that actually you know, brings them meaning and love, and a big part of the space is that we're doing it together, right. and that it's a space where we can, like, a safe space, you know. It's a safe space where we can delve into all of the little nitty-gritty details about our lives, because one thing that I have really understood and come in close contact with my own experiences in life is that there is so much that happens within our personal experience that the way that our lives are set up, we pretend doesn't exist. It's like we have whole societal structures that pretend that half of what everyone's experiencing isn't even there, and it makes no it makes no sense. And you know what, Grace? It's not working. You know, if we say we want to live healthy, happy lives of peace, prosperity, and harmony, well, guess what? We're not doing it. It's not happening, man. Like, the systems we have in place, whether it be, you know, the schools, whether it be our religious systems, whether it be, you know, corporate business, you name it, like, whatever it is. Yeah. And when we say we want to have a world where, like, everyone can live dignified lives of health and happiness, well, yeah, it's not working. It's just, it's that plain and simple, Grace. And
so you see, there's a hole to be filled. There's a space to create a space.
Absolutely, yeah. It's, and you know, in a way, it's quite a brave space as well, and the space will hold the energy of courage as an invitation for the men. And that's the thing about courage. No one can choose to be courageous for you. It's impossible. Like, that's something only you can choose for yourself. And it can seem like a burden, but it's also the greatest blessing that anyone could ever have, is to choose that for themselves, to choose that reality. And the initiation space is designed in a way to provide, like, a spine and a backbone for men to really acknowledge themselves, acknowledge the things that are happening in their lives, and hold that space for them to openly and willingly embrace their own shadow aspects, their own challenges, their own might even be mental demons, you know, whatever it is, as well as their own joy. You know,
a real naked looking at what is, and not hiding away from oneself.
Yeah,
just diving deep
in a safe space.
yeah, I love it, because there is nothing like this that I know of as a common practice or common space for men, or women for that matter. I just haven't. It's obviously not big enough to be out there. If someone is doing it, I haven't seen it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And so someone coming in, there's safe sharing. It sounds like there's safe sharing, but also you'll have initiations within the grand process. Is it like a 1 day event? Is it going to be more of like a 6 week program, or is it both, or both and kind of as far as how it lands?
So at the moment, it's a 10-week program.
Yeah.
And it's 10 events.
Yeah.
A mixture of live events and online events. And the initiatory process, since we will be, like, the space is designed for men who basically didn't get that process when they were younger, right? So they've actually grown up a bit through their own, their own natural and intuitive initiation into manhood. So the space provides a space for the men to basically choose their own path of initiation, or to face the path of initiation that they've already created for themselves. And the program, like, is the practice ground for their own integration and action throughout their lives. So,
right.
So you would say it's a 10-week program with weekly events, which encourages and invites, like, a integrated, an integrated structure of living, and actually applying these things that we move through in the space into
the day-to-day.
Yeah, with the support of the community and the group,
which is really, really important. Support, community support. Like, so many people doing stuff alone, or they feel like they need some support that they just don't have, And so, especially with men, deep sharing, and then facing those part of ourselves that we've maybe been putting off, and it's an opportunity, an invitation, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And so when's the first initiation sequence beginning, or program?
Yep.
Do you have a date locked in yet?
I do.
Okay, yeah, cool.
25th of September is the start of the first 10-week program.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You bring it into the now.
Yeah, that's it, man. We're going for it, Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And this is a collaboration between you and Michael Hayes?
Yes, I have been collaborating with Michael Hayes on the space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's a love beast himself, so
he absolutely is.
Yeah, that's some good energy straight from the top and the bottom, because it's kind of both, isn't it? You kind of you got to do both, and lead from the bottom, so to speak.
That's it. But at this stage, the collaboration with Michael it's up to him to what capacity he is involved in the project, and we have collaborated in the space, but Michael's presence has been missing at times.
Yep. And
the space is going to be created and run it's going ahead without Michael's Michael's input at this stage.
Yeah. But don't be surprised if Michael's involved in this journey of the
absolutely
initiation.
not.
Do not be surprised at all.
Yeah.
Okay, watch this space then. This is So this is all happening now, this year, 2022, and it's something that's been bubbling up in you, and you've got clarity about it, obviously, how it's going to operate and what's involved. But I can see how impactful that would be. I really do see that as a missing piece in the upbringing of us as a species, as people. We are missing that deeper meaning, and the initiation can bring it into the now in a safe way. And I think that's an amazing opportunity and invitation, and also an amazing offering. Yeah, I think that's really exciting.
Thank you very much, Grace. Yeah, I'm pretty excited, man.
Yeah. No, I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
tad nervous as well.
That's kind of the same energy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, for sure.
Anticipation.
Yeah.
But that is good. Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's an epic Art of Rebirth journey that we've been on today. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the audience that might be listening, locally or overseas? It's your open mic to say whatever you want to say.
Oh, that's very nice, Grace. Yeah, man, what can I say? It's been a beautiful, wholesome conversation, Grace, and what I'd love to leave people with is, if in your life you recognise a moment where you can act in a manner that is good and true within yourself, then I say take that step. Whether it be a little dance move that you're thinking of doing while you're walking down the street, like bust it out. If it's maybe it's something like putting down that 10th cigarette that you've had in a row. You know what I mean? I don't know. If that moment arises of that, that clear insight, acknowledge it, and just live that truth to the very best of your abilities, and and don't be too hard on yourself if you don't, or if you think you're not living up to some idea of who you think you should be. You are. And there's love out there for everyone, for everything. So
much love.
Yeah. So much love, man. So much love. Yeah,
that's awesome. Oh man. So there you go. Listen to that small, still voice. Trust your intuition. Bust a dance move if you need a bust a dance move.
Yeah. Get groovy. Yeah.
All right. Well, peace from here, world peace. That is, it's an inside job, but we're making it happen one person at a time.
It's an inside job, man.
One moment at a time.
Exactly right. Yeah.
It's already here. We just need to tap into it more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
But yeah, this has been the Art of Rebirth show. Conversation with Grace and Jesse today.
Yeah.
So, thanks for listening or watching, wherever you're seeing us and hearing us. We'll catch you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
Catch you.
Bye-bye.
Music, art, wisdom. I'm Jesus Grace Linehunter, and this is my underground guide to the Art of Rebirth. Watch my story at wiseserpentunderground.com.